with Wally West, which is the kid Flash, so we kind of kept it in the Flash family because sloths are so fast. But so when it comes to Wally, so right now I'll go a little over about what we're doing with him out here right now. So Hannah has that clear target pole that she's holding. It looks like a little plastic lollipop. And Wally knows that he has to touch his nose to that lollipop. And if he touches his nose to it, he gets a piece of food. We call this target training. Almost all of our animals know how to target train. Reptiles and amphibians excluded, they don't do that. They're not about learning things. But when it comes to our mammals, like our seals outside, they know how to target train. Some of our penguins even know how to target train. Parrots, a little harder to train, but we're trying to get them to get the hang of it. But when it comes to Wally, most animals, like our seals outside, it takes them a month or two to actually completely grasp the concept. Wally learned it in 45 minutes, not even. You could even say he's either that smart or that food motivated that the moment he knew he's getting food from that, he's like, all right, let's do this. Sloths have two moods in the wild and in captivity. They sleep and they eat. Nothing else. They're not explorers. They don't like to play. They don't like to do anything like that. It's really just, you just don't want to get too close.
Sure. You gotta come out from behind there, and the three of you have to come away from Jack all together.
But when it comes, with Wally, he sleeps, he eats. If we brought him out here without food, he'd be sleeping the entire time. He would roll him out here asleep, we'd pull him back to sleep. That's all you guys would get to see. But we do this, and that's how we actually reassure that these chats are completely optional for Wally. When it comes to this, we don't handle him at all. He's not like a penguin. We don't pick him up. We can't bring him anywhere he doesn't want to go. He has a little dog crate, basically, that has a bird perch in it. We target him into the crate, and then we bring him upstairs, bring him on his sloth Uber, and then we roll him out here. But sometimes we've had to cancel our sloth chat, because if we go in there in the morning and Wally's having none of us, then there's really not much for us to do. Sloths are completely antisocial creatures. They're solitary animals. They don't like living with other animals, or other sloths for that matter. The only time you ever see two sloths in the wild, if it's either a mom and her son or her daughter, or if it is a boy, he meets up with a girl, but they usually hang out for a day and then he leaves. So they don't stay too long. But that's how it works in the sloth world. Mom will get pregnant. Mom will be pregnant for anywhere from, I think it's 11 months, right? Yeah, so she's pregnant for 11 months, basically. She gives birth, and then she hangs out with her kid for about a year. The kid's all grown up in about half a year, but he'll still hang on mom usually, and she'll watch, make sure he's doing everything right, or he's doing everything right, and then she'll leave usually, or he or she will find another trade. A lot of people ask, like, when it comes to sloths especially, some animals do like to explore, they do have territories. The only thing a sloth ever cares about is their tree. They will spend their entire life on one tree if they have to, especially girl sloths. Boys come to them, they don't have to go anywhere or travel for them. But they'll stay on one tree their whole life as long as it gives them the leafy greens that they want to eat. And if it grows a fruit or a vegetable, they'll eat that too. So when it comes to Wally, in the wild, they should typically just eat leafy greens. Yeah, you have a question? If you want to. So yeah, that's what I'm going to get to right now. So when it comes to Wally, in the wild, 95% of their diet would be leafy greens. Wally doesn't eat leafy greens. I'm not. It's okay. I'm going to tell you all about it. So Wally doesn't like leafy greens at all. Well, he is definitely a squash guy. His favorite food is zucchini. He can't get enough of zucchini. But if it has squash in the name, he'll eat it. Right now, he's eating, I think, yam and yellow squash. Acorn. Yeah, so he's eating acorn, squash, and yam. He likes anything with vegetable, really. Not a fan of broccoli. I found that out. If we even put broccoli in his food, he won't touch the whole thing.
He's not a sloth.
But he's not a big fan of fruit, which is actually really good. He'll eat apples and pears, and we give it to him. But too much fruit for mammals, they can't process all those sugars. And so it's really good that he likes vegetables. We have our monkeys outside that you guys might have saw over there. They don't like vegetables at all. They only like fruit. The only way we get them to eat their vegetables is by cooking their vegetables and covering them in applesauce. So, monkeys very spoiled. But we also learned very quickly, because when we first got Wally, for us it's a very big jump from fish to a sloth. Few animals we skipped there, but we had them. So we learned very quickly that no two sloths in captivity eat the same thing. Our first week having him, we probably spent over $400 on groceries just trying to figure out what he liked. You can really go to any zoo or aquarium, they'll tell you something completely different. Because when I tell you, we probably asked every place what they fed their sloths and stuff, and honestly, none of them really love zucchini. So the fact that that was his favorite is kind of confusing. But some of them even like peanut butter, some of them like strawberries, that's their favorite food, but for Wally, it's zucchini. And so he's pretty much fully grown. He could get a little bit chunkier and stay chunky, but back to them having the best life in the animal kingdom. Sloths can gain all the weight they want all week, and then when they go to the bathroom, they lose 40% of their body weight. So they get chunky, and then at the end of the week, they're skinny again. So they go to the bathroom about once a week in the wild. They live in their tree all week, so go all the way down to the bottom of their tree, and then they go to the bathroom in the same spot every time. Yep, you have another question? Yeah.
How do you know about his favorite food is zucchini? Or did you like test what is my favorite food?
Yeah, so that's what we did. We basically tried every single thing you can get in a grocery store.
Like beans, apples.
Yep, everything. Yeah, we tried apples, strawberries, pears.
You mean from like red to pink? Apples, oranges, bananas, blueberries.
So Wally, he actually does like blueberries, which is pretty interesting. He doesn't like squishy foods, but blueberries he's a fan of. But
Do you like pears?
yeah, he likes pears. Anything really crunchy. He doesn't like the squishy foods. So like any squishy fruit, like he'll eat mangoes, but they have to be not ripe yet. If they're ripe, he's not going to eat them because they're too squishy. But so also, when sloths are in the wild, they do have a few predators out there. The only thing they really worry about in the trees are harpy eagles. It's a massive bird. Their wingspan's about 6 feet long, so basically as tall as me, and that's pretty crazy. But when they're on the ground going to the bathroom, that's the scariest part for a sloth, because when they're on the bottom, basically anything in the rainforest will try to eat them. Caiman, any big types of cats down there. Actually, a big problem they have now is wild dogs in the rainforest will also eat sloths. But they really don't worry too much about predators because it is very hard to find the sloth in the wild. Since they live on a tree for so long, and a lot of people ask how does this guy defend himself, he doesn't use those claws or anything. Their main defense is being slow. It might not sound like it works, but they sleep 18 to 20 hours a day. So when they're sleeping on those trees in the rainforest, the algae and the moss on that tree actually starts to grow on their fur and on their skin. And then all the bugs that live on that tree just think he's part of the tree. They all start living on him too. There's actually a species of moth that only lives on sloths. And every time they go to the bathroom, that's when they lay their eggs, and then they fly right back up to live in the sloth. But it's perfect camouflage. They completely blend in with their trees, and they don't smell too good, so no one really wants to eat them. But they have such good camouflage that not even we know how many sloths are out in the wild. There's never been an accurate census taken on sloth population numbers, so we can't say that they're endangered or if they're even close to, or if there's a lot of sloths in the wild. No one knows. We also get asked a lot, why do we have sloths, parrots, and monkeys in the aquarium? None of those guys live in the water. But when it comes to them, the rainforest is actually endangered, even if those animals are not endangered. The rainforest is torn down in about 27 football fields every few minutes, so that's kind of crazy, because all these guys live there. And where the parrots and stuff might be able to fly away, the monkeys jump out of the trees, sloths come right down with their trees. Sloths are not quick enough to get out of their trees, and no one's looking up in the tree to see if they find the sloth. And if the sloth survives falling out of the tree, they're usually sold into the pet trade. So it's not a good life for a sloth in the wild.
Take a bath.
Do they take a bath? So, Wally, so that's actually a really good question. So, I almost forgot actually. So, our seals out there, they live in the water their whole lives, and they can only hold their breath for 30 minutes. Wally here, he only goes in the water if he's looking for a girlfriend to swim across the river or something, and he can hold his breath for 45 minutes. So, he's got them beat by 15 minutes, and they typically will only swim to either get to something. They don't, like I said, they only sleep or eat. They're not, like our penguins sometimes, they swim just to have fun. Wally would never go out of a tree if it was not food related. Yep, and when it comes to this guy, Wally, where he does live in our basement, he has a whole exhibit down there because we don't have one upstairs for him yet. But where he lives, he does have a pool, so he has the option of going swimming if he wants to. But we have not seen him go swimming yet. Sloths are typically awake at night. They do sleep 18 to 20 hours a day, but it doesn't necessarily make them a nocturnal animal. They just happen to be up at 4 a.m. That's typically the time they wake up. But it's kind of interesting because they have no adaptations to see in the dark for an animal that's typically awake at night. Their pupils do get really big, but it's just like us. It's just to capture more light, and it really doesn't help them see too great at night either. Their main sense is their sense of smell. That's how they identify their keepers. The way Wally knows who we are is actually by what we smell like. Our head keeper, Carlo, the one time actually changed his cologne, and Wally didn't realize who he was. So Carlo switched back, so Wally and him would still be friends. And he is very picky with who he likes to interact with. Typically, if you work with him more, he's very good with knowing this guy needs food, I'm going to be listening to him. But he can be a few things. That's fine. Sometimes, though, Wally is a little strange for a sloth. He does like putting his butt down on the ground when he goes to bed. But when he goes down on the ground on a sloth Uber, it is very hard to get him to start moving again so he can get out of here. Wally eats breakfast and dinner. He eats 2 meals a day. He gets about 2 pounds of food each day. And then during his sloth stats, he gets an additional 2 ounces of food, so he just gets more food for coming out here and talking to you guys. Speaking of sloths and talking, they do speak, but it's very, very low frequency sound, so we actually can't hear him speak. Only other sloths can really hear him. When he is mad, though, he does huff and puff. That's really the only sound we get to hear from him. And he kind of puffs himself up like a big bear. He honestly looks like a bear when he's upside down. Also, sloths are not strong at all. They have very weak muscles. So him hanging upside down is actually his bones. He has special joints in his wrists and his ankles that lock into place, so he can hang upside down. So even when they're sleeping or anything like that, they don't have to worry about getting too tired and like slipping out of a tree or something. It actually works so well that when sloths pass away in the wild, they're actually still hanging from their trees. So they're always upside down. They're designed to do everything upside down. They mate, they eat, they sleep upside down, they give birth upside down. They do everything upside down. Yep.
What do you do? Like, how does the sloth have, like, how does their body work so the blood stays throughout the body and not leak out all into the head?
So, that's a good question, because if we hung upside down all day, we would definitely all of our blood would go to our head. But all of their organs are in completely different places. So his heart's somewhere else, pumping blood to other places. And even his throat's set up completely differently from ours, so he can eat food and not worry about choking or anything like that. Yeah, so they're completely designed to be upside down. They're actually so designed to be upside down that they're the only mammal in the world that their hair parts on their stomach. Every other mammal species, their hair parts on their back. So that's pretty cool because when you're hanging upside down in the rainforest, you want that water to run off you, not stay on your stomach. And the reason sloths are so slow, a long time ago there were very big sloths, and they just got smaller and smaller, and they just never picked up the pace. But being slow really works for them. And so, like I said, how sloths are solitary animals, that's why we actually don't even really touch Wally that much. The only time we'll normally touch Wally is when we're feeding him, and we'll just run our hand down his back just so he's comfortable with being touched. Because our vet does come every Sunday morning to check on every single animal in the aquarium, and we never want that to be a stressful experience for them. So, no matter what, even if Wally doesn't really like being touched, Dr. Pollock's going to make sure he's okay. So he's going to get touched. So throughout the week we work with him and make sure he's okay with it. Does anyone have any questions? I can keep talking. But, oh, so another reason we don't let people touch the sloth and why we're very, very careful about touching him. His mouth, even though they are typically leaf eaters, and he bites you, even though they are typically leaf eaters, they have 4 very big canines in their mouth. And their jaw can bite right through welding gloves.
Wow.
So getting bit by a sloth does not feel good. We've actually known a couple keepers who've had to get reconstruction surgery on their hands because they've been bitten by sloths. And typically, it's not like you don't have time to get away from a sloth, but if you're not paying attention, you can get bit by him. And that's why we make sure Wally's never bitten anyone here or anything like that. He's actually pretty friendly. But we also found out that Linnaeus Keystone sloths are the most solitary of the sloth species. So he is the least likely to like to be touched. Maybe 10 years down the road, we'll be able to pick Wally up and handle him that way. So like if you go places like the Staten Island Zoo, their sloth keepers, their sloths wrap their back around their legs around their waist, and they take their front legs and they walk around just holding them like they're big, like bags basically.
Nice.
But Wally, we are definitely not on that level of trust yet. And maybe one day we will get a lady friend for him, but like I said, they would only want to live together for about 1 week out of the year. So we would need an additional exhibit to put her in, or a big enough one where they wouldn't have to see each other if they didn't want to. And then maybe one day we'll have little baby Wallies that we can handle like that. Yeah? That's a very good question. So Wally is a little over 2 years old, and they've been finding that sloths in captivity live about 35 years. So we'll have him for quite a while. Hopefully by this time next year we will have a sloth exhibit for him, so you guys can see him all the time. But right now, if you guys ever want to see Wally, you just want to call us ahead or check Facebook. We usually post when we're doing our sloth test. We know by 10 a.m. if he's coming out when we open.
How many centimeters can the canines pierce through?
I don't know how big his teeth are.
Oh.
They're pretty big though.
How many centimeters can their teeth pierce through?
Oh, well, I'm assuming however big his teeth are. They're about like that big. So like, it doesn't feel good to get bit by them. They've actually been recorded in the wild to eat mice. How a sloth catches a mouse in the wild, I really have no idea. Unless the mouse is just like chilling on their back and they don't realize that it's a sloth and it just eats them, but I have no idea how they catch him. We've tried mice, bugs, everything. He doesn't like meat. Do you have a question?
I could walk on the side of
So, if he opens his mouth, you can kind of see they kind of fit into place. Like, his mouth closes perfectly so they don't like mash up or anything. Because he only has those and then 2 back molars. So, they're really, I'm never looking forward to getting bit by him, so.
Where was he at rescue? Like, where did
So he actually was born in the Minnesota Zoo, so that's where we got him. We're part of AZA, which is Association of Zoos and Aquariums. And basically, when aquariums or zoos have either too many animals and they don't know where to put them, like they can't house them for when they're all grown up, they'll post it and be like, if anyone wants a sloth, we have one, we really need a place to put him, we can't keep him when he's older. Because sloths especially, they don't like living together, so you can't have like a sloth exhibit with 10 sloths. So we took him. We've honestly been looking to get a sloth for a long time. A lot of the keepers here, their favorite animal is a sloth, so we got him, like, they cried when he showed up. It was very emotional getting him. I'm a penguin person myself, so he's cool, but I'm about the penguins. Wally, the whole point we have him, though, is to educate guys about sloths in general and the rainforest. Eventually he's gonna be able to go on rainforest outreaches. We've actually gone to Dunkin' Donuts a few times with Wally just to make sure he doesn't get car sick, and the car doesn't bother him at all. So hopefully this coming school year, Wally will be going to schools, he'll be going to all different places to teach people about the rainforest, because you guys get to see how handsome he is, and then you wanna go save the rainforest. So we're actually going to be bringing Wally back unless anyone has any other questions real quick.
I'm actually coming.
I want you to go here.
But it's nice to have the breakdown. Thank you.
We're all good.
There.
No, that way.
He will never ever fall. Because he has special wrists and
So they can walk once they have to.
He's right behind you.
It's kind of a very weird army role.
We can do that, right? If we were to hang on like that, we would
One
fall.
of the only reasons though that they actually have learned to walk on the ground is because roads don't.
Yeah, me too. I would have that superpower.
They can't get
oh my
across the
God.
trees anymore. They have to go on the ground. Yeah.